Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm Andy Murray from WhatCulture, and today I'm going to tell you the released WWE superstar that the company might already be pulling a U-turn on. I'm going to tell you about a potential new direction for the Viking Raiders, about pro wrestling reopening for business in Georgia potentially, and the first landing spot for the revival, maybe, after WWE.
Plus, Nia Jax is up to her old tricks again on Monday Night Raw, an updated card for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and Mark Henry has an interesting suggestion as to who could be the SmackDown hacker. This is the news.
But let's kick things off by rewinding a little bit to Black Wednesday. Dozens of wrestlers released, staff members furloughed, all kinds of stuff last week. There's talk that WWE might already be thinking about bringing one of those wrestlers back. We've got a new report here from Fightful. Sean Ross Sapp coming through saying that a number of people within WWE have, and I quote, loudly gone to bat for Sarah Logan, and there's now talk backstage that she could be brought back into the fold, that the company might change their mind and go, actually Sarah Logan, we quite like you and so do your colleagues, so back you come. She was obviously released on Black Wednesday. This was like 2 days after she'd wrestled on Raw. She got beat by Shayna Baszler in something like 50 seconds, and then suddenly cut loose into this unemployable landscape that we have at the moment all around the world. She should never have been let go in the first place, if you ask me. But, you know, young wrestler, I think she's like 26. She's married to Eric, of course, of the Viking Raiders, so she has that connection within the company. Clearly very popular if this report from Sean Ross Sapp is accurate, and we've no reason to believe it isn't accurate. She's a very good reporter. What do you reckon of this, Adam? Can you see Sarah Logan coming back through into WWE so soon?
I've never heard Sarah Logan's name mentioned more than when she wasn't in the WWE last night.
Yeah.
Like, when she's been on telly wrestling, I don't think I've heard her name that much. As you mentioned, they talked about her loads with Shayna Baszler breaking her arm in kayfabe last week. And then with all the stuff with Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan, it was Sarah Logan this, Sarah Logan that. So, yeah, it's very rare that WWE continuously drop the name of someone who isn't with them, who they aren't going to utilise in some way or another. Let's not forget they've, as far as I know, banned the use of Roman Reigns' name right now, and he's, or at least was, their golden boy for a period of time. I think this is probably the case. There was a load of speculation, of course, last night about, it was Ryan Satin, sorry. Easily confused Sean Ross Sapp and Ryan Satin, definitely don't look completely different. But anyway, there was teasing about someone who wasn't with the company anymore showing up last night, and Drake Maverick posted something on Twitter as well, announcing that he was more determined than ever, of course, to win the NXT Cruiserweight Championship tournament. So, yeah, all the people they got rid of may well seemingly start ending up back there, because yet again, WWE does something and then immediately pulls a U-turn on it.
Yeah, what a strange situation this is, man. Like, I mean, we've already established, like, without any debate, really, that the releases were totally unnecessary and they were morally heartless, as they've been called by the wonderful Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics overnight. Yeah, man, just, like, I'd like to see as many of these people come back through as possible. You know, they need to earn money. Like, it's a terrible economic situation. They need employment. They're not going to get anything anywhere else at the moment. So fingers crossed people like Sarah Logan can come back into the fold. And WWE, for the first time in a long time, can realise we were kind of bastards here. Let's undo this.
I hope so, and I do believe if the people who look like the Viking Raiders put in a word for someone like her, yeah, you'd probably listen to them. Granted, one of them is married to her, but both of them, I know because I've worked with them, and more on that in a brief period, they are bloody terrifying. So let's hope Sarah Logan comes back, not just because of that, because she's a decent wrestler as well. Speaking of decent wrestlers, Nia Jax last night botched a buckle bomb in a match against Kairi Sane. You've no doubt seen the clip or the gif yet again doing the rounds, but Nia Jax, I feel bad for doing this because I was one of the, leading people who's having a pop at Nia Jax for being a dangerous worker, for botching and stuff, up until she left the company. Not left the company, sorry. She just, was off telly with, incredibly severe surgery, double ACL surgery. And I decided I was going to give her the benefit of the doubt when she came back and hope that, while she's been off, she's been able to sort of alter her style differently. But that doesn't look to be the case. Yeah, she botched a buckle bomb, as I said, on Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane's head snapped back after hitting the bottom rope. This is a woman who's injured Becky Lynch, Ember Moon, Alexa Bliss, Zelina Vega. The list goes on and on and on. Not helping her case here, Andy.
Yeah, like, we should clarify that we're waiting, a status report on Kairi Sane. There's no indication that she was actually hurt, but, like, the botch looked awful. It looked horrible, like, really nasty. And it's like, this person has been wrestling now for 5 years, and stuff like this just still keeps happening. And, all the credit in the world for battling back from such horrific injuries, 2 knee surgeries, like torn ACLs, that must have been hell. But stuff like this can't keep happening, man. Like, we reported on this, I think it was the R-Truth situation with the Royal Rumble last year when he was apparently hurt during the attack that led to Nia entering the match. And I think the research we did led to us quoting something along the lines of once every 39 matches that she has, somebody gets hurt. And, that's mental. Wrestling's a dangerous business. There's always going to be mistakes and so forth. But this happens so goddamn often. Don't really know what the solution is, but you hate to see it happen to someone like Kairi in this situation because there's nothing she can do with a buckle bomb. Maybe just stop doing buckle bombs, wrestlers. That might be a good move.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we can't mention Nia Jax and botches without being compared to, someone like Seth Rollins, who of course injured Sting, and most famously of all, Finn Balor used, well, it wasn't really a buckle bomb, it was more like a guardrail bomb, I suppose. For him. But yeah, I think the move's stupid. Doesn't really serve that much of a purpose. And to be fair to Seth Rollins, as far as I know, he hasn't injured anyone with the buckle bomb since those two. So he's clearly adapted his style, just been a little bit more safer. I've never wrestled, of course, so I can't really comment on this. But it just strikes me that someone of Kairi Sane's size shouldn't be that difficult to get a move right with. Is that fair?
I have no idea, man. No idea whatsoever. But, smaller frames, I guess, are more susceptible to injuries and stuff.
But what I mean by that is hitting the right part of the turnbuckle should be easier with a lighter opponent.
I guess so, yeah.
I don't know. Let us know your thoughts on this in the comment section below, because I just winced and then thought, oh god, here we go again when I saw it last night on Raw.
Yeah, it just keeps happening. It just keeps happening. And speaking of things that just keeps happening, the Viking Raiders are going to be a comedy tag team apparently. What the hell was this? So we got this really weird segment on Raw last night. It's like a street in Florida. The car comes driving along. Who's in the car? It's the Viking Raiders. Not a longboat. They're in a car. They've got their t-shirts on. They've got their headrest things. They're all jovial and happy, and Ivar's eating a massive comedy turkey leg like he's walking around at Disneyland, and they do some carpool karaoke about Vikings and stuff and Valhalla probably and fighting, and it's led to immediate speculation from wrestling headlines, Lords of Pain, that they're going to, now WWE are going to go down the comedy route with these guys. They're going to take the comedic direction that the Revival were apparently going to get, put it on the Viking Raiders. Why?
I think it was our very own Michael Sidgwick who pointed out on Twitter this morning. Last week, literally 7 days ago, Bianca Belair was telling the Street Profits, guys, you need to take this seriously. You're going to be facing the Viking Raiders. Cut to them with a giant hunk of meat going, Viking Raiders, in the car. What was the problem with this? I don't see what the problem is. I was lucky enough to work with War Raiders as they were in WCPW. They were, of course, WCPW Tag Team Champions. I got to travel with them, and this is exactly what happens. So I don't see what the issue is.
Okay.
What the bloody hell was that, though?
I know, man. I know.
I want to be a fly on the wall every time one of the darling children of Triple H's NXT is ruined like this on the main roster, because it was so simple. We were there when they had their last match in NXT, and everyone just thought, God, they're going to dominate on the main roster. And yes, they have been tag team champions, but then they also have to be saddled with crap like this.
Yeah, at least they're not called the Viking Experience anymore. That was not good.
That's just the finisher now. So we're still reminded of it. Right, let's talk some more fallout from Monday Night Raw and an updated Money in the Bank pay-per-view card I can't wait for this pay-per-view. I've decided I'm really excited for it. The WWE Championship match has been confirmed. Drew McIntyre challenging Seth Rollins, despite the fact that Drew is, of course, WWE Champion. On last night's show, it was confirmed with Seth Rollins, as some people pointed out, looking like he was sat on 2 chairs because he had like the 2 backs of the chairs next to him. That is going to join the Universal Championship match between Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt, the SmackDown Women's Championship match between Bayley and nobody's meaner than her, Tamina, and of course the 2 Money in the Bank Climb the Corporate Ladder matches, which at the moment now feature on the men's side Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio after he won his match last night, of Aleister Black and Apollo Crews after they won their matches last night, either Drew Gulak or King Corbin, and one more to be confirmed on the women's side of things, Asuka, Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans or Sasha Banks, and one more to be confirmed.
It's looking like a good-ass pay-per-view, isn't it?
You don't need to add many more matches to that. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take a 3-hour show, man. 3 hours. I don't want anything more than that. Don't need anything more than that. Maybe even just do 2 hours. Why the hell not? Keep it tight.
They're going to chuck at least one more tag match on there, aren't they?
Oh, 100%. It's going to be a 10-match card for some reason. Let's hit the old speed round button for these last few stories. Got one here. State Governor Brian Kemp of Georgia. He has reopened the state to an extent. He says that from Friday the 24th, that's this Friday, businesses like gyms, barbershops, hair salons, bowling alleys, and some restaurants will be allowed to reopen in Georgia. This has led to speculation that pro wrestling could resume in the state. AEW has taped in Georgia at QT Marshall's gym. The NWA as well is another one that tapes in Georgia. Power goes down in that city, in Atlanta, sorry. So, I'm very much of the opinion that I don't want to see any new shows taped while this whole thing is still going on. But it looks like, we've got a report from Figure 4 Online as well stating that AEW might come in and do another couple of weeks of Dynamite and Dark to keep them covered. Maybe they'll even do, almost said Money in the Bank, Double or Nothing, who knows. But Georgia, maybe, pro wrestling, soon, perhaps.
Interesting this, isn't it? I'm going to try and avoid getting into the politics of all this today because we often get sidetracked and people start arguing about it in the comments. But intriguing to see how this one goes. I'm just going to stick with that line, Andy.
Yeah, let's go for that.
Right, let's move on and talk about the SmackDown hacker. Loads of speculation on who it could be. Ollie. But Hall of Famer Mark Henry has suggested a different name that some people have been suggesting. CM Punk. Could he be the SmackDown hacker? No, it's Ollie. But anyway, Henry explained on Busted Open Radio. I do like his theory behind this. He said, I said it from the beginning that I was hoping that it'd be CM Punk. That would be his introduction back to pro wrestling, to be able to tell this story of, you want the truth, I want to give you the truth, and I've been around here watching and I've exposed this truth at some small levels, but now I'm going to share the truth on everything, which is a good little theory to be fair. And he concluded by saying he wanted to see CM Punk pipe bomb the out of professional wrestling. Or pipe bomb the out of this wrestling business.
I think that would be the ultimate conclusion to this angle, but it's Ali, isn't it? It's Ali, probably.
Yeah, although I did like that Henry suggestion, along with the fact that he said that CM Punk could bring up AEW as part of his character, and that didn't go wrong when Sami Zayn mentioned them, did it?
No, that didn't go wrong at all, did it? Poor old Sammy. Last story of the day, the Revolt, if that's what their new name's going to be, they might be on their way to the NWA before everywhere else. So the NWA tweeted yesterday saying, a tag team, quote tweet, a tag team active or retired, any promotion who you'd like to see hoist the Crockett Cup, which was going to be their tournament going down on the 19th of April, obviously cancelled due to the ongoing global situation. Cash Wheeler of the Revival, or the tag team formerly known as the Revival, quote tweeted that saying FTR. Dave Lagana of the NWA replied with that Joey from Friends, how you doing gif. Potential, makes sense, they'd fit that product like a glove, think they'd have a lot of fun working there. I could see this happening.
Yeah, absolutely. I just had a brief moment there when I thought, like, what if you had a time machine, you went back to, like, 2000, and you said, in 2000, the way we'd be sort of reporting on potential huge moves in the wrestling business is one person replying to another person with a gif of Friends. But there you go. That's the world we live in now. Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE, of course, if you want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from Big Joe83 off the back of Alistair Black's win to qualify for Money in the Bank last night. Big Joe says, do you think WWE will finally pull the trigger on Alistair Black and let him win the briefcase? And if he does, who will he cash in on?
Yeah, I think Alistair Black would make a lot of sense, and I think he would be a lot of people's choice. Be an easy way to make him a star straight up. Difficult situation with him at the moment is that he's a face and the two champions are faces, which isn't the ideal scenario you want, which leads me to worry that they might put it on someone like Baron Corbin, which is a very them thing to do. But I think it makes a lot of sense. I hope they do it. I don't have the utmost confidence that they will, but it would be cool.
Yeah, I think I'm just looking at the list of other competitors in there that have been confirmed at least, and Rey Mysterio, Apollo Crews, who of course qualified last night. I don't see them grabbing it. Daniel Bryan could hold it always for me, but with him, circling around the championship picture as he did when Bray Wyatt was champion, I don't see him holding it. And I think Alistair Black might be a good one because they've been quite instant when it comes to Money in the Bank cash-ins. Might be good just to put it on Alistair Black and leave it on him for 6 months. Just keep having him kick people's head off and just say he's biding his time when he wants to pick a fighter with whoever is the world champion. But yeah, I don't see him. If he does win, I hope they do pull the trigger on him. It's going to be a weird scenario with him in this corporate ladder match. But I don't see him cashing in on Drew or Braun anytime soon. Second question today comes from The Walking Limp, who says, just thought I'd shoot you fellas a quick something that's been on my mind about Money on the Roof. How much do you think, if any, the McMahons will physically take part in proceedings? Love the content, fellas, by the way. Oh, thank you very much, The Walking Link. So, yes, I read this initially as just Vince McMahon, but I suppose it can be opened out to all McMahons. Do you see them getting involved in the Money on the Roof matches?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I reckon they're going to stumble into an office and Stephanie's going to be doing some paperwork, or Shane's going to be photocopying, and Vince is going to be, telling someone to puke into a waste paper bin. Can absolutely see it happening, and honestly, I kind of hope they do, because there could be some fun comedy spots with that.
Yeah, if you want to know some of the spots that we predicted, myself and the Daddy Boys did a great podcast yesterday. Just search for WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from, where we went through and came up with some spots that they can do. Yeah, if they go with it, it'll be an interesting night in 3 weeks or whatever it is. Final question today comes from Philip Bryce Hoffman, who says, I figured it out. The hacker, right, I like this theory. The hacker will reveal Miz is just using John Morrison to win titles, just like he did last year with Shane McMahon, which will reveal that the hacker is in fact the best in the world himself, Shane McMahon.
Oh. Don't do that to me, man. Don't do that to me. If I was being a bore, I would sit here and say, oh no, but the hacker had long hair and looked like he was a small frame. I don't know. I honestly don't mind Shane as much as a lot of people do, but by the end of that run, I was so goddamn sick of him. Just don't do that. Not at all. No.
Quite a few of us have got dodgy haircuts during this ongoing global situation. Shout out to Josh Brown. So I'd like to see Shane McMahon with flowing long hair, perhaps. But yeah, please don't waste this hacker gimmick on him. Just do it with Ali. Sometimes, WWE, sometimes we're allowed to guess the surprise and still be surprised despite the fact we know who it is. Right, let's move on to today's and finally, and a load of people have sent this to us on Twitter, so thank you to all of you at WhatCulture WWE, but credit has to go to Matt Rains, who I saw sending us first. Congratulations to Drew McIntyre, not only, of course, the first ever British WWE champion, but also now apparently on Monday Night Raw, the Universal Champion. Do you see this? His bottom third thing, Universal Champion, it said. So they don't even know who's World Champion on which show.
Good. That's why they're turning the Viking Raiders into a comedy act. Jesus.
Good to see they're getting all their ducks in an order. Yeah, he said, did we miss the dark match on SmackDown against Strowman? He just said Universal Champion Drew McIntyre. So many people sent that to us for today's and finally.
Wow, my goodness, I totally missed that, but none of that surprises me.
No, exactly. Right, let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and the Dadley Boys will be reviewing Monday Night Raw later on today. And don't forget to join myself, Adam Cleary, and Adam Nicholas from 4 p.m. live here on YouTube, answering all the questions that you want answered. You can send some in advance to me on Twitter at Adam Wilborn. But yes, we'll be here from 4 p.m. answering all those burning questions that you want answered. You don't forget you can tweet us all your Twitter questions for the news tomorrow at WhatCulture WWE. And watch there, follow both of us. You can follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for humongous comedy turkey leg.
It was ridiculously big, that, wasn't it?
Bigger than my head.
I remember when we were travelling once, Hanson, as he was known then, was sitting down and he had loads of stuff. And I went to try and find a seat on the bus. And I said, "Excuse me, can I sit there?" And he just went, "No." I went, "Okay, yeah, fair enough." No, but they're both lovely blokes, but what the bloody hell was that last night on Raw? You can follow me on Twitter at Adam Wilborn. As I said, follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. But for now, my thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.